Hi guys, it's Karen from Be Creative, and I'm here with Fun Make and Take. We're going to be obviously doing a slimline card. That's why you're here. This is the project we're going to do today. We had pretty much everything in your kit. You're just going to need trimmers, a black ink pad, scissors. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much, and something to color in your flower with. Otherwise, you can stamp on a colored piece of cardstock if you don't want to color. And other than that, everything is ready to go. Let's put it together. So the project kit you got, let's talk about everything that's in it. We tried to give you a lot of goodies that not only you can use for this project, but have lots of stuff to use for future projects, because it's all about increasing our stash and all the stuff we have to work with. So we gave you in here for this project the tulle and the ribbon. That's going to go on the card. We have that. You have either a little yellow or orange square. That's going to be the backing for our little sentiment. You have an ink pad from Hero Arts, either in a shade of green. Maybe a couple of you might have orange, but most of you have this green ink pad. That's going to be doing our background. You have a, let's see here, a thing of Stickles in either gold or a glisten color to do some highlights. And this will last you a very long time, and you can use it on other things to add a little bling. You've also got the adhesive runner. Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L is one of my absolute most favorite brands because their stuff sticks, and it sticks and endures the test of time. Your stuff's not coming off later. It's a really good quality adhesive. So you get a full runner of that along with foam squares from them. Their foam squares stick really well, and they're really easy to work with, really easy to come off the backing, and just not a big pain punching them out. So you get a whole sheet of that, which will last you a very long time as well. You also have your 8.5 by 11 piece of white cardstock. We're going to use this to make our card base. And you have this really awesome stamp set, 7-piece stamp set. There's a couple sentiments to choose from, along with the flowers that are going to adorn our cards. So what will you need to do this? Something to blend the ink with. You'll need that. You'll need scissors and a trimmer, a ruler, or if you have the measuring on your trimmer, that'll be fine. And either a stamping positioner or a stamping block, something like that. Those, oh, and also something to color in your flowers with, be it a marker or colored pencil, whatever you want to add color to your flowers in. And again, you can match the ink or you can do your own color from your own stash, but we wanted to give you enough to work with in your kit. So how are we going to turn this 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock into a slimline card? Well, I'm not one who absolutely measures everything perfectly every time, and I like to have the flexibility to have leftover to have stuff to work with, because we want to have some of that white leftover to do our flowers and whatnot. So there's a couple ways you can approach this. Of course, you can add more paper from your own personal stash if you want to do something different, but we wanted to give you a base that you could use to turn into that slimline card. So a number 10 envelope looks like this. So we want to make sure the card can fit in. Couple ways you can approach this. So you can have a, let's see here, a card like this guy. I've done the measurement. So this is a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So if you take the 8.5 width of the 8.5 by 11 and knowing it's going to be shorter than your envelope, but you're okay with that, then go this way and cut it down to another 8.5. And that, when you fold it, is going to be this long. You'll have this much left over to do your flowers and other stuff. That's the most efficient way to cut down a piece of 8.5 by 11 into a slimline card. It's not the exact size of a slimline. There's a little give room on each side of the envelope, but that's one way to go. The other way you can do it is if you've got something like this one. I did the little measurements here. I did 8.5 this way, and I did 9 this way. So that 9 is going to be a better size for the number 10 envelope, which will take it to the full length of the envelope. And once you fold it, it'll take you out 8.5. So once you cut that, your leftover pieces will be a strip that looks like this and a strip that looks like this. So these will be your two leftover pieces. From this, that's what you're going to use to do your flowers. Now, this may be a little tight. That's why I'm giving you the other option. If you want a little more space, you might want to go with that full size card that you're cutting down. Again, 8.5, 8.5, like that. So those are your two options for cutting down your card. Either way, it's going to be 8.5 cut down, and you'll end up with a slimline card like this folded. So we want to add ink to the background of our card. You can use an ink color of your choice from your own collection or the ink pad that was provided in your kit. This is a water-based ink. It should blend pretty nicely. When we blend our inks, you want to use something like a blending tool. We have these on our website if you are in need of blending tools. I like using a round one because it's just easier to blend, because when we blend, we're typically in a circular motion to get an even blend. And then I don't have to fight it if I have a square blender. So I like a round blender. If you don't have that, you can still do this technique. It's a little tougher, but sure, you can do it. If you have something like an old makeup sponge, something like that, you can blend with. If you had a makeup brush or a blending brush, a stenciling brush, that will work as well. But I here have that blending tool, and I'm going to use that. Now, let me just show you a little example when we blend. I'll take a regular piece of paper. The thing you want to avoid when you're blending is the splotchiness, because we want all over color. We're doing a whole background, a soft background, and we're achieving that by circular motions, blending consistent color. So you want to get ink on your blending tool like this. You can either spounce it or rub it, either way, to load the ink. But what you don't want to do is do a circle, because then you're going to end up with circles, and circles don't blend. Once you've got it down, it dries pretty quickly, and now you have a big blotchy mess, and you're just going to end up with a bunch of weird circles. You definitely don't want that. So instead, when I blend, I get the ink on my blending tool, and I want to do circular motions even before I hit the paper. I don't want to splotch it. I want to just evenly distribute that and keep my arm moving. You're going to feel a slight burning in your tricep, and then you know you're doing it correctly. This is our crafting cardio, right? So circular motions before you even hit the paper to get that soft color down like that. So let's do it on the actual card here. And I'm going to put green all over this card. And I'm probably going to shake a little bit because I've got my camera mounted to the table. So hopefully you don't get nauseous as we're crafting, right? So evenly blend. And if it's a little splotchy, you know what? Don't be hard on yourself. It's never going to be absolutely perfect, and that's part of the beauty. It's going to give it more of a rustic look. You just don't want it super splotchy. That's the important thing. And again, the more color and the more time you spend swirling color into a specific area, the more intense and deep and dark that color is going to be. So you get to decide the intensity of color, how splotchy it is. Those are all things you get to control as you are distributing all your ink. Okay? So that's the basic gist of it right there. I could really keep working on this a little more, adding a little more deep tones. I kind of splotched it up here a little. Can you see that? Yeah. So I kind of need to work that in a little more color. And if you're doing this along with me, this will give you time to kind of get your ink down too. Do we feel the burning yet in the arm? I do. I feel the burning. Okay, that'll work, yeah? We've got all that ink down, and now that's a lovely background to work with. We also need to do our flowers. So let's get those out of the package. And this is a great stamp that will work for all different types of occasions. And I'm using the leftover from when I trimmed down my card, and I had my leftover. I used the most efficient way. Remember before when I showed you how to mark it off, where I have the skinny strip left over here because I measured it 8.5 by 9. So my leftover's down here, and I had a little skinny leftover right there. That's what we're working with. Okay, so let's get into those flowers. I'm going to use my well-loved acrylic block that's all marked up with all kinds of stuff. And I need to do 3 flowers, so I'm going to do maybe 1 big and 2 of the littler ones. And I'm just going to use a basic black ink. I didn't mention that before. You do need a basic black ink. Memento, something water-based is fine, especially if you're using an alcohol marker. I'm going to color with an alcohol marker, so I want to use a water-based ink so it doesn't bleed together. If you have StazOn and you're not using an alcohol marker, you could do that. You could use a colored pencil. If you don't have a black ink pad, if you've got any kind of regular black water-based type marker. Even if you have a Crayola marker, you can definitely cheat and color your stamp just so you can get into this project, and then you will hopefully fall in love with stamping and go, wow, I really need a good basic black ink pad, and Memento is a really great one to use. So I've got my big flower stamped first. I'm going to do 2 more of the little flower. All I'm doing there, I'm using my leftover little piece from my cut down slimline card, or I'm using white cardstock I have, or any color. Let's say you don't have any markers or pencils, you don't really want to color, you're not a color person. Just stamp it on, you know, if you have just a piece of cardstock, and do it that way and cut it out. You don't have to color it. It is up to you. So you can stamp it on a color, or you can stamp it on white and color it in. Totally your choice. This is your card. This is not my card. I'm giving you what you need, and then you can take it in whatever direction you want. I'm using my Memento black ink to do this, and I'm going to just get some ink on here. I did the bigger flower, and now I'm going to do 2 of the smaller flowers next to it. Like that. Let's do one more. Just like that. Now I have 3 flowers, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm also going to do that sentiment. There's a couple to choose from. I'm going to use the You Brighten My Day. Let's get that down there too. Just like that. How fun. There we go. And while I'm at it, let's trim the bottom off so he's ready to pop on my little, I didn't quite stamp him evenly, so I want to make sure I'm going to trim it correctly. Like that. Each side. Like that. This will get mounted to this base here, so if we need to trim that down further, we can. I think I'll just do that right now, so then I have it out of the way. I'm going to put a little adhesive down here, nothing major, and get that just like that, and get him trimmed down too. Go. Now that sentiment I'll set aside, and he'll be ready for later. So before I fussy cut the flowers, I'm going to color them, because a great thing about having to fussy cut them out is if I go outside the lines when I color, I don't have to worry about it because I'm going to cut off the boo-boo. It allows me to really color it up quickly and not be so concerned about it. So I am using the Tri-Blend brush markers from Spectrum Noir. They come in a box like that. The new brush ones there are 24 in there. And what's so phenomenal, aside from the amazing price, which makes Copic look like it's ridiculously priced, even though I love my Copics too, but these are just so affordable. They're so easy to use because they've got 3 distinct colors put together in one pen. So you've got a light, a medium, and a dark. Takes all the guesswork out of picking colors, which is great. But it's got this really nice, lovely, juicy brush tip to use, and that's what I'm going to use here. And I've used my Memento ink, which is that water-based ink, which ensures that it's not going to smear when I color. So let's do a little bit of coloring in here. And again, if I go outside the lines, no biggie. I'm going to maybe do 2 petals at a time just to show you how I do that. And then I'm going to switch to my darker color like that. I'm going to take it into my middle color, halo that around a little bit. So I've got 3 distinct colors, and then I'm going to take it back to my original light tip and blend that out. Just like that. Easy as that. So go ahead and get all yours colored, whether you're using colored pencils, markers of your own, or if you're just gonna, like I said earlier, stamp it on a colored piece of paper and cut it out. You can do that too if you're not gonna color. And meet me right back here, and we will put the rest of this together. So I'm going to cut my last one out with you. And you notice I colored, like I said, I went all outside the lines because life is too short to stay inside the lines. That's just so confining. And since we're going to fussy cut it out anyway, it doesn't matter if you go outside the lines when you color. So I did. It helps with blending, in fact, because then I'm not actually coloring in such a confined space too. And let me know in the comments, like, what are you going to color it in with? Are you going to use alcohol markers? Are you going to use colored pencils? Are you just going to use regular water-based, like a single tone marker, not blended? Let me know what you decide to do. Or are you just going to stamp it on a color of cardstock and cut it out that way? That's a super easy and pretty way to go. A lot of choices, which is great. In fact, you could stamp out a whole nother set of these and pop them up, like bend the petals, pop it up and make a dimensional flower. You could do that. There's just a lot you can do to really make it your own. You can also, when you're doing this, instead of stamping in black and filling it in, which is so often what we do when we stamp it in a softer, more neutral color, so then the outlines, you don't really see them, and you just really see the color that you've colored it in the flower with. That it's like the flower is more realistic. You don't have that big harsh outline, because that's so often how we stamp everything with the black and color it in. So try breaking out of that and using like a tan or a soft gray. That's a fun way to stamp as well. Okay, so now I have 3 distinct flowers. So it's time to put them on our card and put our card together. I'm going to start with the little strip that is at the bottom. So I used the little strip that I cut away when I cut down my card. I had a little white strip like this. What is the measurement on here? Because some of you I know want to know. What is that? It's like 3/4 of an inch is the measurement on that, but you can do any width you want. And I'm just going to eyeball that kind of like this and trim it to size with my card. And I'm going to mount that down with some adhesive on the bottom, like that. Okay. And I do want to, on the tool, I am going to, I think, tie it around, but the black I'm just going to mount. So I'm going to start by just mounting that ribbon like this. And if I overshoot it, sometimes I do that where I overshoot it and got to peel back that adhesive, no big deal. You can also, a really great adhesive for use with ribbon is glue lines. Not glue dots, but glue lines. We have them on our website. It's a really great way to stick down ribbon. And especially like the grosgrain ribbons, the thicker ribbons that don't really want to stick so well, want to come back up. So I've got that down. I'm just going to trim the ends and just like that and just like this. Easy, easy. Now with this tool, I kind of want to wrap it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the spine of my card. I'm going to come back to my paper trimmer and I'm just going to slice a little hole in it so I can feed it through. So you got to have to eyeball that and be really careful. Just like that. Just a little bit of a hole. And that's where I'm going to feed my tool through. So let me take that. Can you see the little hole I made right here? I'm going to put that through. And this is going to be a trick, huh? But if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? There we go. Have them come through the back side just like that. Okay, so I've got it. I'm going to center it kind of like this. I'm going to tie my little bow like that. And the nice thing about tulle too, it goes a long way. It's a great embellishment ribbon because it's so inexpensive to purchase and it goes a long way. And I use a lot of it at the holidays on my Christmas packages. It's just really fun. Oops, I got a little thread. Not good. Let's get him out. Okay, so that's my little embellishment on the bottom. I'm going to mount my flowers. Let's do that. I'm going to use my pop squares to do that. Actually, let's get my sentiment down first, shall I? You can do it up here. You can do it down here. It's really kind of up to you. I think I'm going to do mine up here, and I am going to pop him up because I like popping stuff up. I think it really looks good when it's all kind of dimensional, not super dimensional, but slightly dimensional. So I'm going to do that. So I've got that. Then I'm going to get these flowers down as well and pop those up too. I hope you guys are having a fun, relaxing time. It's so nice to just crank out these cards. The Slimline thing is just fun because it's just, I have so many, I don't know how I ended up with 4 million legal envelopes. Honestly, I have so many. And now I never, like when it was regular card size, you were always like, do I have an envelope? A lot of times different kits I would purchase. They wouldn't come with an envelope, which is one of my pet peeves. Whenever I would do an expo class, I always made sure you had the envelope because I hated it when I had all these cards and no envelopes and it was so hard. But with this new Slimline size, you have so many envelopes at your disposal. So I've got 2 of the smaller flowers and one of the bigger ones. So I'm going to start with the small guy. I'm going to put him maybe like here. Then the big guy's going to be in the middle like this. And this is going to be like the flower is kind of falling down the card. Like that. I'm going to scoochy him up more. There we go. Like that. Okay, so that's down. Now I want to embellish him a little bit. So I have my Stickles. Some of you may have more of a glimmer color. Some of you may have a sunflower or a gold color. Either way, this is just adding a bit of shimmer. Now, if you aren't into dimensional Stickles, another option you can do is to use a sparkle marker. This was not in your kit, but this is available on the website. And this just adds a little bit of shimmer that you can brush on. So you could do that, or you can use the glitter glue in your kit. I'm going to start by adding centers to my flowers like that. And this will need to dry quite a while. A question I get a lot is how long do Stickles need to dry? And my answer to you is it's a lot like nail polish. If you do 1 coat, it dries pretty quick. Couple coats takes longer. If you're 5 coats into it and you smudged one of them on the way out of the salon and they had to take it off and put all 5 coats on at the same time, that nail's going to take like an hour, right? So it really depends on how much you use, how thick it is, how big the dollop, and those are the things that will dictate how long it takes. I've heard of people speed drying their Stickles with a heat tool. Yeah, I mean, but again, it's like nail polish. You put it under the little dryer and your top coat's dry, but if you touch it, it's a little bit like a cake that got the crust looks good, but inside it's still kind of liquidy. It didn't cook all the way through. So just kind of resist temptation, leave it alone. Don't touch it and let it really dry. And the great thing about Stickles and all the glitter glues, first of all, there's about 50 colors that we have on our website. There's a color for everything. I'd say the most popular is probably Crystal. That's the one a lot of classes you take will call for Crystal. It really kind of takes on the color of the project. It's very opalescent. That's probably the most popular, but there's so many colors. And I mean, I like glitter, I like bling, I just don't like it everywhere. I don't like wearing it. I don't like it on my face, in my hair, you know, and anything bulk glitter and bulk embossing powder, I feel like it just gets everywhere. So this stuff is great because it dries, it's dry, it doesn't come off. And as simple as that, you've got your Slimline card. Look at that. I could even use the sentiment, well, there's a different sentiment you could put on the inside, or just keep it blank to write a fun note to your friend. Easy as that. I hope you enjoyed putting this together. And you can use your stamp set, change out the colors and do a whole host of cards in different color tones using the same supplies. So let's talk about some other fun Slimline type items that you can use with your Slimline card making if you're as obsessed with Slimline cards as me and so many other people. Our website, shopbecreative.com, we've got a whole host of Slimline card dies from Pink Fresh Studios. If you have ever worked with Pink Fresh, you know they're all about quality, and I think that's what sets them apart from all the other die companies out there, particularly for Slimline dies. They've just got some really great, this is just a few, I pulled 4 just to show you. We have so many more than that, but just so many really unique, intricate cuts with embossed edges to really give you some fun edges to your cards, things that will cut away. These are just so pretty. This particular one is a slim edger, and a whole host of stamps and other things. So that is one. Another thing I really like are sentiments. that can be die cut. So here's a few from Gemini, which is a Crafter's Companion brand, that are all just really great embossed and cut sentiments. And these are actually all on a red hot sale on our website. And we have put all of this in the Mega Make and Take Slimline category at the top of our website at Shop Be Creative, so you can easily find it. So smile, hello, and you can see how it'll kind of halo it, emboss it, and die cut it. Blessed, celebrate, thanks, and so many others that are on there that will make for great pop-up sentiments on your cards. So that's really fun. These three are just real winners because these also give you the stamps that coordinate. So they're stamps with lots of sentiments, in addition to the big focal sentiment, along with the die cut that coordinates. So you're going to get in there, and actually we have these on sale as well. You're going to get in there the die, you're going to get the stamp, you're going to get a lot of little sentiments and some little icons and things to embellish, to piece together, to do these fun backgrounds. Here's love, here's thanks, and here's sorry, which you can take in a lot of different directions. Like this one is sorry for your loss, but there's also sorry I missed your birthday, sorry to hear you're not feeling well, that kind of thing. So lots of different directions you can take these as well. So we're going to use this Hero Arts fancy die. We've actually done a whole kit where you're going to get the die, a snow marker, a little sparkle marker, and let's throw something else in there too. We're going to throw in some more foam squares. That's a whole kit we've got going here. So you can just do this at home with this little kit. We've made it super, super affordable to get into this project. Okay, so we've got that. So what I did is I took this die and I cut out the Santa twice using my die cut machine. I cut it out on white. This is going to be my tag. Let me cut him down just a tad here, like this. So this is going to be my tag that I'm going to put on all my gifts with a little bow. But then I cut it out on this red shiny paper because I want to take the hat and put that on there as well. So let's pop this hat out. How I'm going to do this, it's die cut, but it's kind of like pieced together, if that makes sense, because it's supposed to be one piece that doesn't pop out. So I am going to have to make this work to get this hat out of here, and I'm going to have to kind of trim him along the hat line like this. Just like that. And then he will be adhered. Oops, I don't need the little bow. So I'm going to get if I had a glue pen, that might be a better choice, but just for now, I'm just going to stick a little adhesive, and then the hat is going to go on here. Now again, it's like a dimensional die cut, so it's meant to be like where you can pop them up, but it's like a pop out. And then these beard pieces also pop up when you're done. So I've got my flesh tone marker, and I'm just going to, whoops, sorry about that. And we're just going to get his skin tone down on here. Here and there and everywhere, yeah. Just like that. There we go. So Santa has a little bit of a face. Like that. And now it's time for us to puff up his beard. And I'm going to use my handy dandy snow marker for that. I'm going to add lots of snow to his beard. So I'm going to color. So tap, tap, tap. Here, there, everywhere. Get some snow. And just know when you heat this, it's going to heat unevenly, which is what you want. You want it to be fluffy like fur, snow. This is good for popcorn, bathtub bubbles, all that good stuff. So get all of that on there. Let's get his little mustache. And again, it's slightly perforated so you can pop that out too. So I think I have enough on there. So I've got my heat tool, and no, a hairdryer's not going to do it. It doesn't quite get hot enough. So I've got my heat tool that I'm going to hit on there, and I need to be patient because when my heat tool hasn't been used for a while, it does take a minute for it to heat up. Ooh, fun, fun. Ooh, it's hot. It's warm. Gonna hit that. Can you kind of see it starting to pop up? There we go. I'm gonna hit it with some more snow, I think. Lots more on there. I want to make him nice and thick. Oh my goodness, how fun is that? And then lastly, I'm going to take my little sparkly marker that I showed you before. This has all the shimmer and it dries real quickly. And I'm just going to add some sparkle here, there, and everywhere. And it's just going to add a little bit of a bling to my Santa tag, just like that. Now I can go through and I can pop up his little beard pieces to give him dimension. Oops, just like that. And oh my gosh, what a cute and charming little Christmas tag that would be put onto a present. Look how adorable. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you had a good time making a couple things and learning about a couple things. And I hope to see you online at shopbecreative.com. Remember, we've got everything in the category Make and Take Slimline to make it easy to shop with you. And stay tuned for our show specials. And we hope to see you in person real soon. Hello there, my name is Karen and I am from Be Creative. So looking at some of the goodies like I did for Halloween, I did this kind of a little treat bag. I did, what else? I did this is a cookie goodie bag. And when I'm stamping on like this bag here with the acetate and you're doing gift giving, you do want to use something that's like a StazOn, which is more of it's an alcohol or a solvent-based ink, so it'll stick on some of those acetates and cellophane and things like that, because your water-based, your mementos and all that will not stick. So that is important. What else? I've got this little treat box here. I kind of stuck him down. Cute little treat box like that. 'Tis the season, all kinds of fun stuff. So what is this I am showing you? Let's get into that. I'm going to start with a couple samples here. Here's some more samples for you. Look how fun that is. So you can do lots of stuff. I mean, we're doing so much more now, trying to connect in other ways with our neighbors and our teachers and things. We're all virtual, but thinking about gift giving as we get into the holiday season. This would be a really fun way to personalize something you want to give somebody that is special to you. Here's a couple other samples too. This is kind of fun. All these little treats that you can do in either mason jars. You can do treat bags, glassine bags, all kinds of ideas. If you have any other ideas to share with people, drop that in the comments too. We love extra ideas. I'm a big fan of hot cocoa mix, so that is something I'm going to be doing for lots of people I know. Our bundle board, look at that. So this particular bundle set you'll find, yes, you can get these stamps and dies separate on our website. They're available individually. There's one for like the fruit muffins, the hot chocolate, the chocolate chip cookies. It's got the recipe that you can stamp. I just want to drink hot chocolate and watch Christmas movies, all kinds of stuff. But this is a big bundle we put together where we're going to include the treat boxes, those green boxes, and the red treat bag. And you're also going to get some of these guys to go on all your treats. So that's one big bundle, or you can get the stamps as a bundle, those three, or you can pick them individually. So I'm super excited about that. I think these will be really, really popular. I know I just fell in love when I used them. So I wanted to mention that. So let's get into the other thing I'm really excited about. Let's move this out of the way. And that's going to be from 𝐂𝐤𝐧𝐧𝐞. They're another company I really love. These two stamps are just absolutely phenomenal. They are You can use them just as regular stamps. When we're coloring them in, you can use a water-based marker if you're not an alcohol marker colorist. And some recommendations I had that I was starting to touch on earlier are the aqua markers from Spectrum Noir. This is a water-based marker that looks like this. You're getting a juicy brush tip on there, and then you're getting that fine point as well. And that you can either stamp with black and color it in, or you can color the stamp, color to rubber, not rubber, but you can color right on the stamp, stamp it down to get a colored outline. So that's an option. Another great thing I would recommend if you're really getting into stamping and haven't done a lot, this particular set from Tombow we have up. It's a watercolor set, but basically it's a water-based marker that is perfect. It's got a brush tip and a fine point for coloring in any type of stamped image. It also comes with the black. Like sometimes you stamp and you miss a little section because you didn't press hard enough. Instead of throwing it away, you can correct that with a permanent black ink pen. There's a water brush in there, pencil, eraser, and all kinds of tips and tricks. So that would be a great complement to any stamping projects you're getting into. So now what's so exciting about these? Well, it's because you can do other stuff with it. Here's some samples. Look at that. Look how cute. So the one thing I didn't get to do yesterday that I really want to do is to make an advent calendar. Can you imagine doing these presents or these ornaments and making an advent calendar where every day was a different window? So how do we get, here's one I made yesterday, how do we get that little pop open type effect with these two different stamp sets? Well, that is achieved by, here, I'll move this here and I'll move this here. That is achieved by using the infinity dies. Here are the 4 different dies. Obviously, the circle and the square are the ones you're going to use with the presents or the ornaments. And what's special about these aren't just nesting dies. One edge is going to be a score edge and the other 3 are a cut edge. So it allows you to do that open window thing. So if I were to do this in, say, my Gemini machine over here, I would make my sandwich and I could just use the grid mat. And I should mention, if you need Gemini plates, we've got all of that. So you can lay out and kind of, that's what I did for this piece. I figured out which ones I was using. I put them down backwards, knowing I would cut it out with my paper face down, and you can put whichever ones you want, run it through your machine, and it's going to do score line and 3 cut lines. So really fun and easy card to do. I embellished with a little Stickles. What else did I use? I used my gold paint pen. So back to our infinity dies, 4 different styles there. And yes, you could start peekaboo windowing all kinds of stuff. I'm just a huge fan. I think it would be quite fun. Oh, and back to this sample. How else did I embellish that? Some of my favorite pens are my Uniball Signos. We do have these in a bundle on the website or individually. I have 2 white in there. I don't know why. This is great when I stamp and I kind of boo-boo and you make a mistake or you smudge. I use my white pen as kind of like a fake whiteout, and I'll color over the smudge and nobody needs to know I boo-booed. So white pen, really great for that. And this is the white pen that works. There's many white pens out there, different brands, that do not work. And this one is the good one. Also gold and silver. So I used a touch of gold, a touch of silver. We'll write on those dark papers really in an opaque way. It's not transparent. It'll really show up. So you can do stitching. There's also black, red. So these are phenomenal. If you haven't used Uniball Signo, I highly recommend. Some more peekaboo stuff if you thought this was kind of fun for every day. We have a whole host of peekaboo stuff from Hero Arts. They have some really great things. So here's like a Thanksgiving feast. We have presents, we have mail, we have the Venetian window for our neighbors if you're sending a thank you neighbor card, something like that. The winter scene is great for doing an advent calendar with the little peekaboo doors. And what else? Oh, and we have this really fun plant one too. So those are all the peekaboos. You can either do the window peekaboo die that goes with, or you can do the circle. This one really goes with the winter scene specifically, but I think you could kind of make it work with any of them. But this guy definitely works with all of those. So that's a really fun way to go. And then there's these 2 I just wanted to show off too. This, you could do a peekaboo with that. That's the big, like a big birthday with lots of little sentiments that you could put in that peekaboo window. And this has just been a winner too, the little bookcase stamp. So wanted to mention that. So thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, I'll come back through the comments and be sure to answer anything you have. And big thanks for being here, and I'll see you later.